Hey, welcome into the GASOCast, the TABC recap. Got to get that a cup of hoops logo off, but we are here, man. We got Gaso Blue. I'm at Gaso Mass and at Gaso Linden. We told y'all we were going to bring in the expert with Linden, so we got a lot of analysis, commentary, everything coming at you this episode of the GASOCast. We appreciate you joining us, but let's roll with what's coming up this week. The Gaso Fast Break. Subscribe now. New one dropping Friday. As I was saying in a cup of hoops, whatever we're putting in the GASOcast, whatever we're putting in a cup of hoops will be different in the Gaso Fast Break. We have our all-tournament team list, our underclassmen list, our 2025 list, our next gen, our stock riser, everything. So if you didn't get mentioned here and you played really well, if you didn't get mentioned on a cup of hoops, you played really well, you might want to check out the Fast Break. Programs on the rise, much more. Recruiting Simplified newsletter dropped earlier this morning. There's one every Wednesday. It's about a minute and a half long read. You'll get your dose of recruiting information. If you didn't watch a cup of hoops, watch it after this. And then we have an event coming up this weekend, guys. It's going to be a great event. We're very excited. Exploded over the weekend. I guess there was some TABC buzz. Everybody wanted to hit the court back with their grassroots squad. So that's going down. Join us at the SWAC this weekend if you want to come out and see some really high-level basketball.
Hey, I'm going to just say something real quick.
Go.
I just got a text message from a high school coach. He goes, hey, he must have been watching Cup of Hoops. He goes, will Synergy really help me that much other than cutting up film? Yes.
Oh, yes.
Go get it.
Go get
All
it.
Right.
Yes, it will.
PSA.
It's incredible. It's incredible. At Synergy, I hope you're watching. We're trying to get let's just start with a vibe check. Let's just talk about TABC, what it was, what y'all were feeling, the energy. There was a lot of juice in that building. Lyndon, I'm going to pass it to you first.
Yeah, I hope you arrived early is what I'm going to say because, Sloan hit on this with a tweet over the weekend, but the creativity of some of these parking spots, I saw
elite
trucks pulled up gravel, parked all over a warehouse, people creating spots out of nothing, up on the grass, up on the sidewalk, everything they could find, because this was the place to be for everybody. And I'm not just talking about in DFW or in Texas, but in the nation, because everybody wanted to be in the building and it was packed. And there was, you go to SWAC and there's 8 great games going on while there's great games going on at Hebron and the Colony and Drive and all over the freaking place. It was one of the, it's the best basketball weekend of the year in Texas, and that's no hope. I don't think it really anything else holds a candle to it.
The fans fought through adversity. They had to get there. Lyndon in the notes just for like the parking lot. Like I almost got hit.
There was one moment like if you came into the backside of the SWAC, y'all probably saw it. Yeah, you see all of these trucks, and then there's this huge branch. It's dead, though. And I'm thinking to myself, if I can move that about 10 feet, I can park there. And I thought about it, and I was like, I'm just in a small little Camry, though. Can I get over the curb? Like, yeah.
The fact that you had to think about it, though, speaks volume.
I wanted to move. Like, I thought that because it was dead. It was pretty thick, but I was like, I can move it, I think.
I've got Michael's internal voice telling us to move on right now. But last thing I'll say, I learned my lesson and I parked over by the warehouse so I could get out easily on Sunday.
Yeah.
I'll go. I thought the weekend was incredible, but I got reminded. I got this slapped in the face with humility, just humble pie that if you're trying to watch everything, you're really watching nothing. And I learned that lesson about 2 hours in on Friday. And I was like, I got to focus. I got to go to one game, I got to watch a half, kind of move on like that. Every year I go in there with the expectations of like, yeah, I'm going to see like hundreds of teams. And it's just, it's really not possible.
No, I just think the first thing that comes to my mind, it's busy. I mean, you start at 11 o'clock in the morning. First tip is 11 o'clock. You're going till 10 o'clock every, the first 2 nights. And, you stay as long as you want to watch. And I mean, Sunday you get to a point where you're dragging a little bit, and it's a marathon. Sometimes it seems like a sprint because no matter where you're sitting, you kind of always have a little bit of FOMO, like what's going on court 3, what's going on court 4, and like you said, Massive, you have to have a plan to go. and that's where it's just a busy weekend of basketball and just high level. People
Yeah.
are still talking about it.
Yeah. It was trending. It was trending on Twitter, which is always fun to see, like TABC showcase and then TABC showcase, and then it said Section 7. So we were in front of the Section 7. So go Texas on one. All right. Let's hop into our first segment. Okay. What's the word? Name a prospect that was talked about every time you walked up on a college coach. Like, just name a guy that I know you'll have these guys because I heard the same name about 25 times. Lyndon, go.
Yeah, 2 for me. And it was somebody who I was kind of trying to direct traffic. San Antonio Brennan, everybody knows Kingston Fleming by now, unless you're living under a rock as a college coach. But Donovan Chris was one of those who I've been trying to steer to get eyes on in the 2026 because as a 3-and-D wing, he does exactly what a lot of college coaches says that they want in their program. And in the first 2 minutes of his game, he hit 3 threes, got on the floor after a loose ball, and was guarding Allen's ball handler 94 feet. And it's just one of those things where I'm just like, you know what? This is what we're talking about. And then throughout the weekend, just cannot hear enough about, what he's been able to do to kind of shine his own light on that Brennan team. And then with him, Jaden Leverett from El Paso Chapin, because a lot of guys will be like, he's 6'10", but can he really play? He can really play. And he showed that all weekend long.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'll hop in here. Jalen Finner, Atascocita. Obviously, Atascocita was on the big stage. They get stuff done every single year, and he's just kind of that next leader up with that group that's surrounded by a lot of younger kids. But Jalen, he sets the tone with his intensity, and I love he's so decisive defensively. He just crawl right up in you, makes plays relentlessly in transition, and he's just a plus. Like, you're getting a winner with that kid. He reminds me of maybe not the same position, but David Terrell. Just like, he does a lot of stuff at a really high level, and he's always impacting the game with his defense.
DJ Hall, and there was a lot from high all the way down to lows watching him. And the one thing that I'll say about DJ is that he hasn't changed his game, but he has given a lot of freedom out there for Plano East. And he comes off of a team. This is what I'm really proud of the guy for. He's coming off of a 40-0 season.
A historic Texas team.
Yeah, winning MVP, right, of the UIL championship,
Right.
6A. And here he is. They graduated 11 seniors, and he's playing. I don't think he's playing with anybody else right now that has any varsity experience. He's a leader. He does things out there. I mean, he's a little undersized, but the face up, the things that he can do facing up. He's handling the ball a little bit more on the perimeter. Right? Maybe that he doesn't do that too much in the college game, but the guy is a winner. The guy is out there, and one of his winning qualities is he already trusts his teammates. You need to be in certain spots. They're giving up the ball. Those guys are hitting big shots along with DJ. It brought a smile to my face because besides the college coaches looking at him, like I said, from top to bottom, I don't know where he'll wind up. I don't know how high or where he'll go, but man, he was. There's a lot to be impressed of with his character and who he is on the basketball court.
Oh, good word. Next superlative. Programs that caught your eye for next season. We have the 2 early rankings probably coming out soon. Lyndon, you can shed more light on that, so we'll let you tip it off there. But who's a team that just was like, okay, I got to respect that. Let's see what's going to happen with them.
Yeah, for me, that was clearly Birdville from the first 2 days. That losing by 1 to Green Hill, but then beating Westlake and Katie. I can't remember if it was Jordan or Taylor.
Jordan.
Maybe Jordan. But I mean, I feel like with Sawyer Dotson, we've been talking about him as one of these next kind of guys in DFW for a while, but he's not next anymore. He is up because he shot like 75% from 3 this weekend. I don't think I ever got my own 2 eyes watching him miss a shot when I was over there running around from court to court trying to watch every game in the building and failing at that. But with him, Trent Bowers has arrived as well. He's very, very polished as a scorer. Avery Webb does so many things well, can shoot the lights out, and then Gabriel Zachariah in the middle. I mean, this team is really balanced. They go 2-1 in a very tough pool, And I think that they're going to have a decent shot to make that way too early top 10 when we actually sit down and do those rankings sometime in the next.
I love all the players that they roll out and the speed that they play with and the pace. And just like, if you counted them out, shame on you. Beckham Black, Caden Edwards, Cam Smith, BJ Davis, Jaron Mitchell, Deuce Hunt. I'm sure I'm missing like 5 of them. They're phenomenal to watch. A 3-0 weekend. I will say this. I do think there's real parity, though, this year. Where in years past, it was like Duncanville's going to run the table. Last year, it felt like Plano East and Stony Point were kind of like a tier above. This year, I feel like there's real legitimate parity right now, but I still think D-Ville's the team to beat.
Oh, there's parity because of having to split up the classes into small and big.
True,
Anyway,
true.
and
Boo! Go read Lyndon's take on that.
masterful. Okay, it's weird for one not to see Leslie Broadhurst after 34 years down the sidelines of Canyon Randall's bench, but made a really wise decision there to hire head coach Trevor Johnson. He's a great person and coach, and they go 3-0. Talk about this team. There's no KJ Thomas this year. All of those points, they're gone. So what did they go and do? They really went out there as a team and focused on sharing the ball. Offensively, they were able to get it to their upperclassmen. Tayson Combs was able to hit some shots. He was really good at getting to the basket. Christian Smith, who was leading the point guard position, I believe, was really good at getting into the paint and just orchestrating an offense that they were going to share the ball and that they were going to make every shot count. And they hit a lot of threes throughout the weekend. Defensively, they would play you man. And then when they saw that they could kind of force you to take some bad shots, they went into a zone and they pushed their men, their opponent out further than most people are comfortable shooting. And so the combination of an offense that was run through multiple guys, players, and then a defense that was played together, they're not finished. They're going to continue to go. I think this year's a little bit different, which is kind of fun to see the makeup of a new era happening there for Canyon Randall.
Love it, Blue. Our next superlative is a fun one. Needs more notoriety. Okay, look, I'm social media is very important to the space, to the sport, everything. Heck, Recruiting Simplified is built on social media. But I would say this. Sometimes what happens in social media doesn't always add up with what happens in real life. And so what we're going to talk about is a player that you thought played really well, but maybe didn't get like the blow up or notoriety they deserved on social media. Lyndon, I'm going to pass it to you.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, this kid definitely got a fair amount of pub this weekend because he was very good and deservedly so. But from the level that he was against the competition he was, LJ Andrews playing kind of the Robin role with Shelton Henderson. I mean, this guy has a real chance. And I haven't seen him since the high school season, but he has a real chance to be one of these kind of late-breaking, huge blow-up type of guys. And I really loved what I saw from him as somebody who can score around the basket, step out to that 15-foot range, go do some work on the elbows, get to the rim. Very impressed with what I saw from him this weekend with Bel Air.
Good call. I'm going to go with Kabari Lewis, Cy Creek. This kid was just a gorgeous jump shot, raining in threes. Cy Creek has a real program over there, and they rack up a lot of wins. And Kabari was kind of the leader here. He played really well. I'm just a fan, and when I saw him playing really well, I was like corralling coach. I'm like, watch this guy. He's hooping, man. Like, y'all need to watch him. He can go. He's got size, strength, can shoot the ball. Big fan of Kabari Lewis.
Caleb Steger, Dallas Jesuit. There's really nothing on the court he has not shown. Yeah. He's a rebounder, a defender, a ball handler, a scorer, a leader. And he gets it. He understands what Dallas Jesuit basketball is about. And I mean, he was hitting some gaps, and they threw him an alley-oop one time. I was like, oh wow, that's something I hadn't seen before. And just the little things that he brings. And I've always said it from the very beginning when I first saw him during the sophomore season early on against Highland Park, is that, you know what, this guy's he's gonna get you 8 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, a couple steals. I mean, I don't care how many points he's going to score at the next level. He's going to do something to win a game.
It's a good call. New kid on the block. This is a fun one. Y'all picked 2028s. I picked the 26. I could pick it. Lyndon, go.
Yeah, and apologies in advance for the pronunciation, but Benji Barroway from McKinney Boyd.
Okay.
Sounds right.
You know, but going up and down in the early morning on Friday, and you're looking for prospects. None of the traditional big dogs have arrived yet. But watching McKinney Boyd against Abilene, and I see this kid who's just doing everything well, running the floor, demanding the ball. They're throwing it to him. He steps out and hits a three, and I look on the roster like, this kid has something. And I look, he's a 2028. I mean, this is how you announce yourself, by showing some like alpha dog tendencies, and you're probably the first month of your career running at the varsity level.
Yeah.
That's big time.
It's a good one. I'll go here. Ezekiel Obe, Dallas WT White. This dude, I mean, what, 6'5", 6'6", athletic, long, rangy, playing hard, diving on the floor. It was just a resounding, who is number 0? And I was like, I just started yelling, Ezekiel Obe. The kid was great. I just loved how much energy and power he brought inside. He would go grab rebounds, and I saw him get off on 2 feet and just go dunk it. I saw him dive on the floor multiple times. He's a very versatile defender. He is going to be another tool in the toolbox for Coach Pat Washington at Dallas WT White.
That dude's college ready.
Yes.
For 2026. Kamari Miller, 2028 here from Odessa Permian. I mean, I think what he did was he turned some heads and is like, really, he's only at 2028, but he's out there handling the ball. He's scoring. He's getting into the paint and getting past defenders. And I think that, Odessa Permian has had some success in the past. And when you have such a young guy coming into this big setting and just kind of stepping in there and fitting in right away, and people are like, we got to stop that guy. That guy needs to be stopped. That just tells you a lot about this kid and how, we have 4 years of really evaluating him and see how much better he's going to get. He's probably about 6 foot, 6'1". So, he's got room to continue to mature and grow. And so it's, with the 2028, it's always one to circle and continue to watch.
Yeah, it's time to go crank up the Scouting Service 2028 database. My gosh, we're here, guys. Fun time. Next superlative. Are you not entertained? Who is just built for the TABC showcase? Like, who is a guy who he just put on a show? Lyndon?
Yeah, for me, there's only one answer after watching him this weekend, and that's Austin Gooseby, because he did just about everything you can do to help yourself as a recruit. The 38-16 stat line was going around Friday night as just one of those kind of like mind-blowing, like that really happened type of deals. But then I sat down and watched him again against Bridgeland the next day, and he was doing the exact same stuff. He scored 9 points in a row at one stretch where he was just hitting every shot he would find. He was creative. He was getting his teammates involved as well. It wasn't just, hey, I'm going to try to go get 40 every game. He was trying to, create the best shot possible. It just turned out a lot of that time was him getting into a step back or attacking the rim where he was finishing everything.
Yeah, he's a stock riser, and we have him at like number 5 or 6 right now. It's crazy. That's scary. Cameron Lomax, he had a game-winning 3, and then he had a game-winning assist. Like, he's just built for it. That dude is pure entertainment. Even when the shot isn't going, you want the ball in his hands, because at the end of the day, when push comes to shove, he's going to get the job done. If you haven't watched Cameron Lomax, tap in. I have so much confidence sending college coaches to see Lomax, just because he has so much flair to his game. He's a really good leader. You can just tell the way he carries himself on the floor, how he talks with teammates. Like, he's always chatty. And then when it's time to see who's going to rise to the top, it's always seems to be Cameron Lomax. 3-0 Frisco Heritage Group.
Billy White, the third from Corpus Christi Veterans Memorial. I'm talking to a high major guy that's assistant that's like, who is this kid? Tell him, and right away he goes and sits down and watches him, because that's just the kind of vibe that Billy White was giving. I mean, Billy was feeling it. I mean, he was hitting down threes. He was finishing at the rim. It's one of those momentum builders that he has had from the spring to the early summer now through TABC. I think there could be a crowd of people watching him as a 2026 playing with ASAC down in Central Texas. That Billy White really came out and performed, and you know what? He's going to be one of the top players in the class. He's going to be the Corpus Christi Vets Memorial should be one of the top teams in the entire state when you talk about 5A, and everything's going to go through him.
Good call. Our last superlative, and we're wrapping it up with teams because that's, at the Gaso, we wear a lot of hats, and one of the team hat is one of our favorites. So this getting a glimpse into next year is so much fun. So taking care of business, a high school team that went 3-0 this weekend, and that you expect to see the continued success bleed into the season. Lyndon, who is that for you?
Yeah, and it was a 4A team who was over at SWAC in a pool full of 6As, because when I was sat down and watched Huffman Hargrave against Plano East, I'm like, is this really, does this matchup need to be happening? Because there's other good 4A competition out there. And then Huffman's taking it to them and suffocating them defensively, and MJ Bingham's out there doing his thing and delivering for them. And Huffman going 3-0 only boosts them in the way too early rankings that will drop at some point in the next week or two.
I'll hop in here. Round Rock, Stony Point. Anyone? 3-0. They're the current king of Syntax? Can they stay king? Are we headed for another Region 4 bout with Brennan? This team is complete. They have 5. They're really deep. They got players of all age, but I love their starting 5. 4 really good guards that can make plays, and Davon Hewitt's emergence has been really, really fun to watch. Round Rock, Stony Point, hard to deny what they've done.
I'm going to close it out here with Lovejoy. I can imagine Wes Watson just texting Kyle Harama every morning saying thank you, because there is a team there that is going to just bust loose. They're playing a little bit of a different style than what they're used to, so they're going a little bit more wide open. They can go. They'll hit threes. They're going to take the ball and get to the basket. Tate Zimkowitz was really good at some points of being the key rebounder, scorer. Just a lot on this team with Pierce Patel and Luke Moderson, a 2026, handling some of the point guard duties along with Alex Cheatham. That there's a lot to choose here as you go forward, and they were very impressive because it's always kind of curiosity to see a team, what happens when one successful coach follows another to a program that's always rich with talent.
As always, thanks for tuning into the GASOcast. We'll be coming at you next week. Maybe. No, we're going to be coming at you next week. We got a fun weekend this weekend with the pre-live showcase. Come out, support. We'll be at the SWAC, and you'll get to see a lot of good basketball. As for Gaso Lyndon, Gaso Blue, I'm Gaso Mast. We'll see you next time.